What if a single blurry detail in the background wasn't nothing, but a quiet sign of support that fans completely missed at first glance? Tonight on CNNEWS, we're unpacking a small clue that has sparked big conversations. Did Wu Lei quietly drop by Zhao Lusi's filming set without anyone making a fuss about it? Stay with me, because we'll look at the hint from multiple angles, explore what could realistically happen behind the scenes, and, most importantly, why this story is resonating with so many viewers worldwide. What makes this story compelling is not the clarity of evidence, but the absence of it. The so-called hidden clue is not a clear photograph, a confirmed statement, or a direct appearance. Instead, it is a fleeting, partially obscured figure in the background of a behind-the-scenes image, easily overlooked, yet powerful enough to ignite widespread discussion. Human attention is naturally drawn to subtlety. When something is not fully revealed, the mind begins to fill in the gaps. In this case, viewers noticed a figure dressed simply, standing away from the spotlight, not engaging with the camera. The clothing appeared familiar to some fans, but familiarity alone does not equal certainty. And yet, that ambiguity is precisely what gives the moment emotional weight. For many, the clue symbolizes something quieter than celebrity spectacle. It represents the possibility of presence without performance. In a world where public figures are often expected to broadcast every move, the idea that someone might appear briefly, discreetly, and without announcement feels almost refreshing. Importantly, this clue does not demand belief. It invites contemplation. It allows different interpretations to coexist: curiosity without accusation, interest without intrusion. That balance is why the discussion has remained largely positive rather than confrontational. At its core, the hidden clue is less about identifying a person and more about recognizing a feeling, the sense that not everything meaningful needs to be clearly seen. Sometimes, the quietest moments carry the strongest emotional resonance. To understand why this story feels plausible to some and questionable to others, it is essential to consider the professional reality of a filming set. Film and television productions are highly structured environments. Every movement is scheduled, every presence accounted for, and every distraction carries consequences for time, budget, and focus. Within such a setting, visibility is not a given. On the contrary, discretion is often valued. Any visitor, particularly someone well-known, would be expected to blend into the background, minimize disruption, and respect the working rhythm of the crew. If a brief visit were ever to happen, it would almost certainly be quiet, unpublicized, and intentionally low profile. This is why the absence of clear evidence does not automatically invalidate speculation, nor does it confirm it. Professional spaces are designed to function smoothly, not to accommodate public curiosity. Silence in this context can simply mean professionalism. For older viewers especially, this perspective resonates deeply. Many understand workplaces where personal relationships remain separate from professional responsibilities, where presence is measured, and where discretion is a sign of maturity rather than secrecy. The film set, therefore, becomes more than a location. It becomes a symbol of boundaries between public and private, work and emotion. And within those boundaries, subtle gestures can exist without ever needing explanation. That understanding adds depth to the discussion, grounding it in reality rather than fantasy. What draws many viewers to this narrative is not romance in its loud cinematic form, but something far more restrained. Among mature audiences, the idea of support has evolved beyond grand gestures. It is often recognized through consistency, consideration, and timing rather than spectacle. The notion of someone offering quiet presence, without announcement, without expectation of recognition, resonates strongly with those who have navigated demanding careers or emotionally taxing periods in life. Support, at this stage, is not about being seen, it is about being reliable. This is why the story feels emotionally credible to many. Even without confirmation, the idea reflects a deeply human truth. When people care, they do not always need to prove it publicly. Sometimes, the most sincere form of encouragement is simply being nearby, unseen, and respectful of boundaries. For audiences aged 35 and above, this interpretation feels familiar. It mirrors relationships built on trust rather than display, on understanding rather than performance. In that sense, the rumour functions less as gossip and more as a projection of values people admire. Whether or not the situation reflects reality, the emotional language it evokes is meaningful. It speaks to maturity, emotional intelligence, and the comfort of knowing that not all support needs an audience. That is why this angle lingers in the mind long after the details fade. Human beings are natural pattern seekers. When two well-known individuals share a history, even neutral overlaps can take on significance. Similar cities, close timing, familiar settings. These details may be ordinary in isolation, yet emotionally charged when viewed together. For fans, especially those invested over time, these moments form a narrative thread. Memory plays a crucial role here. Past collaborations, interviews, and on-screen chemistry shape how new information is interpreted. The mind connects dots, sometimes cautiously, sometimes enthusiastically. However, coincidence does not automatically imply intention. In large entertainment hubs, overlap is inevitable. Schedules intersect, events cluster, and familiar locations repeat. Rationally, many viewers recognize this. Emotionally, though, the repetition feels meaningful. This tension between logic and feeling is what sustains interest. Fans are not necessarily seeking proof, they are seeking continuity, a sense that the story they once connected with has not entirely disappeared. Importantly, this behavior is not unique to fandom. It reflects how people make sense of relationships in real life as well. We remember patterns because patterns help us feel oriented and reassured. When approached with balance, recognizing coincidences can be playful rather than intrusive. The healthiest discussions are those that allow curiosity while accepting uncertainty, where coincidence remains possibility, not conclusion. Stories do not always end when the final episode airs. Some linger as emotional after-images, shaping how audiences perceive future interactions. Love Like the Galaxy left such an imprint, not merely because of its plot, but because of how it made viewers feel. When actors share strong on-screen chemistry, audiences often carry that emotional memory forward. Subtle expressions, restrained dialogue, and shared silences become reference points. Later interviews or public appearances are then filtered through that emotional lens. This does not mean viewers are confused between fiction and reality. Rather, they are responding to continuity of feeling. For mature audiences, this is less about fantasy and more about appreciation for nuanced performance and emotional authenticity. The legacy of the drama adds depth to present speculation because it provides context. Viewers are not starting from zero, they are revisiting a connection that once felt sincere and grounded. This explains why even neutral gestures can appear meaningful. The past does not dictate the present, but it colors interpretation, and when handled respectfully, that emotional continuity enhances engagement without demanding confirmation. In this way, the drama's legacy becomes a shared emotional language, one that allows viewers to reflect, reminisce, and quietly hope, without insisting on answers. As conversations around public figures grow louder, the manner in which audiences engage becomes increasingly important. Enjoyment does not require intrusion, and curiosity does not need certainty. A healthier approach begins with holding two ideas at once: appreciation and restraint. One can enjoy speculation while acknowledging that private lives deserve privacy. This balance preserves both emotional enjoyment and ethical consideration. Respectful engagement also means choosing language carefully. Phrases that suggest possibility rather than fact help maintain a calm, inclusive tone. They invite dialogue rather than division. For many viewers, especially those with broader life experience, this approach feels natural. It reflects how mature relationships are understood, with space, patience, and humility. Finally, kindness matters. Online conversations shape real emotional climates. When discussions remain thoughtful, they allow admiration without pressure and interest without harm. Ultimately, stories like this are most meaningful when they remind us of shared values, discretion, respect, and emotional intelligence. When approached this way, the narrative remains enjoyable, reflective, and enriching, not only for viewers, but for the people at its center as well. If you enjoyed this respectful deep dive, please subscribe to CN News, give this video a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you see this as a coincidence, or something warmer beneath the surface? Thank you for watching, and I truly appreciate your time. Stay with CN News for thoughtful updates, balanced storytelling, and the kind of entertainment news you can enjoy with confidence.